Hi, this is Carla Renata with AfterbuzzTV. I am sitting here with Sabaah, Folayan, and Damon Davis, the writers and producers of the documentary Whose Streets. Hey, y'all.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good. So, I was watching the news. Well, not the news. I was watching The View about maybe a week or so ago. And ex-police chief of Ferguson, Tom Jackson, was on there. And Whoopi Goldberg asked him, when you hear hands up, don't shoot, what do you think about? What do you think that means? And he said, police brutality. And I just want to know your thoughts on that. Who wants to go first?
I can go. I got you. All right. I mean, I think that's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, it kind of shows you the disconnect between the police and the people that are saying that term. And I think sometimes, you know, Whoopi can say some stuff I don't really understand, but I think she got that one. She did that well because she explained to him that it's a signal not to shoot somebody. Like it's the most basic meaning of what it said, and the fact that a police officer and that somebody got to be the chief of police officers didn't know that and like was carrying a gun around and never could put those two things together is kind of scary to me, you know.
How about you?
I'm sorry, I didn't necessarily understand the question.
Okay, so basically I wanted to know, Tom Jackson, who's the ex-police chief of Ferguson, when Whoopi Goldberg said, when you hear, to Tom, she said, when you hear hands up, don't shoot, what does that mean to you? And his response was police brutality. So my question to you is, do you think that hands up, don't shoot means police brutality? I don't. Do you?
I think that it depends on when he was asked that question, but I think that the movement took that on as a mantra, and the fact that it had to be said and it had to be chanted over and over, I think is a sign of how prevalent police brutality is. And I think probably in his mind, you know, the rhetoric that the movement had put out took over the idea of common sense. Hands up, don't shoot means hands up, don't shoot. You know, a person is surrendering. And you know, I think that's really interesting because a lot of times it seems like people's fear of us, of Black people, people's concern and surveillance about what we're doing and thinking overrides just common sense reality.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to you guys before we got on camera, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and my parents were born and raised there. So it's just so interesting to me that the and the operative word here being ex-police chief of Ferguson thinks that hands up, don't shoot. Like, it's very... You know, it means what it says. Hands up, don't shoot. How do you translate that into, that means police brutality? That just goes to show you how warped the thinking is in the police's mind in Ferguson, Missouri. Which brings me to my next point. So there have been all kinds of incidents and hundreds, almost thousands of Black lives snuffed out across the country for one reason or another. You guys could have chosen any one of those cities to go to and do your film, but you chose to go to Ferguson. Why was that? Who wants to go first?
I think that Ferguson and St. Louis is a really special place because of the way people responded. This does happen all over the country, but I don't think we've seen any city respond with this much energy and with this much desire to make something change. I think the people of St. Louis have really been leaders in terms of showing us how to, you know, put your body on the line, put your resources on the line, and make sure that this issue doesn't get overshadowed.
Okay. Damon?
I think it's very personal to me because I'm from St. Louis and I can't see any other way other than to tell it straight from the heart. And I think I wholeheartedly agree with Sabaah, and that's a reason why so many eyes were on St. Louis, but particularly about the response of the people. You know, that the incident happens a lot, but the response of the people is always different in different places. And I think it was a very special response in St. Louis, and I just really wanted to be a part of telling the story for my home. That was a big thing for me.
Now, Whose Streets tells, this is the one thing I love about the documentary. It tells the story from the vantage point of the activists. And oftentimes when we see stories about uprisings in a city, it's usually from the police point of view. It's usually from the media point of view. It's usually from some people that want their 5 minutes of fame point of view. It's never from the activists who do this time and time again from city to city to city. So having said that, I wanted to know why you guys decided upon the title Whose Streets?
It's exactly what you said. This is a chant that was being used by the people on the ground. We felt like the question was very loaded because not only is it asking the literal question about who has the right to be in public space, but I think just in general, who has the right to decide how communities are run, how our government is administered.
No, I think she summed it up.
She got it. What she said was pretty tight. I also wanted to know, are you guys planning on continuing your activism in the future? Are you on the horizon of something right now? Or are you just out promoting the film?
We're both storytellers, and I definitely want to continue to make films. I feel like activism for me is just like a mode of being. It's just about being always aware, always vigilant when you see something wrong, when you see an opportunity to intervene or to try to improve a situation. And so I think I'll always be an activist. I think my work will always be trying to do something towards healing or changing what the status quo is.
Okay, Damon?
I agree with Sabaah. I do think activism is like existence at this point, and I think it's like that for a lot of people, even if they don't see themselves as activists. Most people of color have to fight for their own basic survival, and I feel like that is activism because you're making the world, better for you, but you're doing stuff for other people too, whether they realize it or not. And I definitely will continue to tell stories and through a bunch of different mediums, but and my principles and my thoughts will always come through on those things. So I guess those works will be acts of activism too. So
great. I wanted to know first and foremost, and in closing it up, how did you guys get involved in activism? Most people do not grow up and go, I'm going to be an activist. Most people grow up and say, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be whatever their parents think that they should be. What was it within both of you that made you decide, I want to make a difference in the world by being an activist and promoting activism wherever it's needed?
I just want to be super clear. I think what we're both trying to say is that there's no distinction between wanting to be a doctor or a nurse or a lawyer and being an activist. It's just about where your heart is and where your priorities are in whatever work that you do. So for me, it was a situation. I actually was trying to be a doctor, and I wanted to initially go to St. Louis and try to do a public health study to show that people in police facing off was going to have a traumatic effect in this community. And it wasn't possible to do that in that kind of situation. So I started making a film. But I think that, activism should not be in conflict with your career or with your livelihood. It's about existing in the world where you respond to things that you see are wrong that you have control over.
I agree. I really want to say that I don't think activism is a job description, like the way we put it in there with like doctor, lawyer, and all that. And I think like that's something that like supersedes whatever you're doing. Me personally, since that is the way it is, the thing that I have always been as an artist, like since I can remember, and my parents knew it, and my brothers and sisters knew it, and I knew it, and I was raised by parents that are super militant. My father was a Panther, my mom was a sharecropper, and they gave me a sense of self and understanding about the world I was walking into, and so I don't know how I would have been anything other than, I guess, an artist talking about these things, because it's just always been around me, and it's like the idea was fostered in me to do something about it.
I want to just say that the world in general is really lucky to have you two people. Being aware to young people, not to African American people, but to young people that are being aware about people's human rights being violated in the way that they're being violated in this day and age. So I want to thank you both for that. And I want to ask you, with Whose Streets opening in theaters in this month in August, what is the one thing you'd like for people to walk away with when they see it? And what would you like for people to say about it when they see it to encourage others to check it out?
I just want people to know that, this concerns all of us, and understand that taking care of your own backyard is the most important thing that you can do.
I agree. And I just really want Black people, in particular, to see themselves and see the beauty and majesty in who they are, and be proud of the people that stand up and don't shy away from it. But I want Black people to see themselves in the mirror.
Cool. This is Carla Renata for AfterbuzzTV. Check out Whose Streets is opening in theaters in August. It talks about the uprising in Ferguson post the Mike Brown shooting where he was laying in the street for 4 hours, but that's beside the point. Just check out the movie. See you later. Bye.
All right.
Did y'all like that? Good.